In the land of Shu Luo there are many tribes. Among these tribes, the strongest are the human tribe and the demon tribe. The conflict between these two tribes turned into a great war to fight for resources. Several decades ago, both tribes began to grow tired and weary. The human tribe was the first to offer peace, followed by the demon tribe. Isabella Osa, the queen of the demon nation, agreed to the peace treaty. Meanwhile on Earth, Xiang Ye blamed himself for not having any friends and not having parents who cared for him. His parents were busy working overseas and rarely came home. He spent his entire summer playing at home. If he wasn't drawing, he would play video games all day. Xiang Ye then daydreamed about being a savior in another world, and because he was tired of playing, he went to sleep. But when he opened his eyes, he saw a horned girl, and he asked her what she was doing in his house, but she said that he was not in his house. So he looked around, and he thought he was hallucinating. He seemed to notice his surroundings and many people he didn't know. Finally, Xiang Ye realized that he had been transported to another world. Then the horned girl asked the high priest if Xiang Ye was truly the prophesied person. The priest said that according to him, he would have the same ring as the queen. Xiang Ye then showed his ring, and realized that he also had the same ring as each other. When Isabella saw Xiang Ye wearing the same ring as hers, she couldn't believe that someone without magic and power could be the chosen one who had been prophesied. And she was also angry, because she was part of the human race. Xiang Ye said he didn't understand anything, and he said he bought the ring at a street shop. He told the high priest that he couldn't possibly be the chosen one, because he was very weak. But the high priest said there was no mistake in the calling. He was the only one who could save the demon race from destruction. Xiang Ye didn't know what was happening. Then he asked them to tell him what was going on. So the girl introduced herself as Isabella Osa, the Queen of Demons, and she said that day was the day she signed a peace agreement between demons and humans. No one suspected that the Supreme Commander Lillian and the cunning human would make a secret deal. They attacked the Demon Queen when she was unarmed. No one knew what Lillian used, but she absorbed most of the Queen's magic. Luckily, the Queen had 4 guards ready to sacrifice their lives to protect her. And the reason why Dai was still alive, it was because of their sacrifice. Because there were only a few who were willing to protect her. Upon hearing all of that and seeing that he was in a different world, Xiang Ye planned to become the protagonist of this story. He wondered why. Couldn't he hide in the mountains? But the other girls said that they were running away from humans. So he called himself the Chosen One, so that he could help their queen. But they were disappointed because he was useless. At that moment, Isabella began to feel something bad happening to her body. She felt her aura fading away, and she transformed into a girl. She looked like a human. The high priest stated that this was because his aura had completely depleted, and that is the reason why his body has transformed like that. And they blamed Xiang Ye for what happened. However, Xiang Ye denied it. He said that he was also a victim here. He also didn't want to be summoned to their world. Then there was news that the human race was breaking through their defenses. The guards said that the queen should leave that place as soon as possible, and they escorted Isabella so that she could escape. Then the high priest informed that now the queen appeared no different from most humans. It would make her escape smoother. But she must also not let the humans know her identity. Meanwhile, she would stay there to stand with the guards, so it would give her a little time. Isabella refused, because no matter what happens, she will not leave her people there. But the high priest began to open a dimensional portal for teleportation. Isabella cried out for the high priest to come with her, but he had already taken them to another place. At that moment, the door was shattered, and Torst Angus, the mayor, appeared. He asked where the Demon Queen was. After successfully escaping from the palace, they wondered if they were still surrounded by the human nation. Isabella was determined to avenge all the soldiers who sacrificed themselves. Therefore, they decided to flee. However, they were attacked by human forces. The girls planned to sacrifice themselves so that the queen could escape. Xiang Ye promised to protect Isabella. He reached out for her hand so they could escape. But Isabella wanted to stay and fight until death with them. Xiang Ye said that if she did that, their sacrifice would be in vain. So Isabella cried. She watched from afar as everyone died so that she could escape. Along the way, they encountered several human knights. Isabella let go of Xiang Ye's hand and attacked the knights for killing her subordinates. Xiang Ye stopped him and apologized. And a knight said that he heard that the demon race brainwashed slaves and made them see humans as a threat. If that's the case, one of them said, maybe they are also demon soldiers. He was sure he would be rewarded if he brought their skulls as well. Then he planned to kill them. Xiang Ye thought that the man was killing people as he pleased. Then Xiang Ye made Isabella and himself kneel down. He said that the knights were mistaken. They were never brainwashed by demons. He said that the woman had been frequently harassed by the demon race since she was young. It caused her emotional trauma, and that shocked the knights. Xiang Ye told them that they had been oppressed by the demon race for a long time. He asked for their release. Isabella was angry, but Xiang Ye said that dignity was no longer important now, when he couldn't even fight with his current condition. Just humble themselves so that they could live, because he could only avenge his people if he was alive. Xiang Ye continued that Isabella had suffered such severe trauma that she thought she was a queen. But the knights didn't care, because their skulls were valuable enough to exchange for rewards. Then the White Dragon troops came to their rescue. The woman introduced herself as the leader of the White Dragon Knights. Her name was Sophisas. She then pointed her sword towards Xiang Ye, which immediately made him fearful. She asked about his previous occupation among the demon race. Before that, Xiang Ye thanked her for saving them. However, Sophisas ordered him to answer the first question. If not, she would kill them. He said that he was captured. When he was captured, he was 5 or 6 years old. He introduced Isabella as his wife. He mentioned that she was also captured by the demons. Finally, Sophisas believed him. He offered his cloak so that he could cover himself as he was naked. He would take them to the human tribe's city. But Isabella did not want to go insane. However, Xiang Ye convinced her to leave. The next day they arrived in the city where humans lived. Xiang Ye was surprised when he saw the place where humans lived. The capital was located at the southern end of the mainland. It was a comfortable place to live in all 4 seasons. It also had plenty of resources. The Ayer's wall was equipped with strong cannons as a strong physical defense. The wall was also protected by high-level wizards, and humans dressed very differently there compared to the demon tribe. They bowed when they saw the knights. It was like a settlement full of honor. Isabella changed her name to Yi Bei so she wouldn't be recognized. On their journey, they met the royal family of Tolsbury. A soldier explained to Xiang Ye that their current king was still young, so when the previous ruler died, he asked the governor at the time to be the one to support the ruler temporarily. The governor had the strongest cavalry. It could be said that he was above all men. Sophisas greeted him politely, but Tolsbury noticed that he was not the leader of the Red Dragon Knights. He hated him, but Sophisas said that they were the ones who started sending them, the White Dragon troops, to go out and sign a treaty with the demon tribe. Then he questioned why the Red Dragon troops were 1 step ahead of the White Dragon troops towards the signing place. Tolsbury stated that it was because the king had another idea, which was to kill one of his demons. He then asked whether he was questioning the king's decision. However, Sophisas was just curious, whether it was the king's desire or the governor's desire. Then came the imperial leader, Gurodita. He was Sophisas's father. Tolsbury greeted him. Leader Gurodita heard the news of the governor's victory, so he decided to welcome him back directly. Seeing this, Xiang Ye asked one of the knights whether his father, the captain, also had a big influence in this kingdom. He answered that Master Guro was one of the imperial leaders in the kingdom. He was also one of the people close to the royal family. The governor and Master Guro had different views on politics. They both were very confident in their own positions. Then the trumpet sounded, signaling that the city gate was open, and this time it was the governor who arrived. When Isabella saw him, she became very angry. She remembered that he was the one who caused all the destruction. He was Tol's Angus. Isabella was determined to make him pay with his life. However, Xiang Ye calmed her down. Tol's Angus approached Master Guro. He asked if he came to congratulate him. Master Guro replied that his lord did well. Xiang Ye informed Isabella that the person they were supposed to kill seemed to be a warlord. He then narrated that in his world there was once a warlord named Cao Cao. He eliminated everyone around him, and his son eventually became a king. Xiang Ye then suggested that they should think of a way to get him out of there. One of the knights then called for both of them. He said their commander wanted to accompany Master Guro into the palace. He entrusted them with the responsibility of bringing both of them to his residence. They arrived at the residence of the commander of the White Dragon troops. Xiang Ye was surprised because the place was incredibly huge. It was as big as a museum. A servant then approached them. They introduced themselves as the caretakers of Elena's house. The master ordered them to serve them well. Xiang Ye became excited when he saw the female servants. However, Isabella felt that something was off. Why were they treating them so well? Meanwhile, elsewhere, Master Guro and Tol's Angus were meeting the king in the palace. The king said that he had succeeded. No wonder he became a respected knight within the city walls. After negotiating with the demon queen, what reward do you desire? The king asked him. Tol's Angus thanked his majesty. Fulfilling his wishes and sharing responsibilities were enough for him. He did not need a reward. Then someone said, sharing responsibilities and fulfilling wishes. What the mayor did deserves the harshest punishment. The master then stated that His Majesty requested the demon nation to sign an armistice agreement. The White Dragon troops were supposed to come to represent them, but the mayor went to the location first to stop the agreement and kill the demon queen. Not only that, but the noble name will also be tarnished because of this man. It will have a significant impact in the near future. If the lost queen returns to the demon nation, she will fight fully against the human nation. The battle between the two nations will result in nothing but destruction for our people. However, Angus said that before they could sign a peace agreement, he received a letter from Lillian. She is the right hand of the demon queen. In the letter, she stated that she had gained the majority of support from her people. She said that if they overthrow the demon queen Isabella, she will lead the demon nation and form a stronger relationship between the two nations. And now the demon nation has accepted her as the new ruler. The previous queen Isabella was declared missing after a small battle. This resulted in the termination of the agreement. The agreement agreed upon by Lillian and herself was clearly written in the treaty. Then Angus handed over the letter and asked the king to examine the document. After seeing it, the young king said that Angus had done well. However, Master Guro said that the OSA clan had ruled the demon nation for centuries, and how could a traitor like him easily overthrow the clan and be crowned as the new queen? There is clearly a problem here, but the king said that if Master Guro no longer needed to speak, he allowed the mayor to carry out his plan as he wished. Then, in the residence of the commander of the White Dragon Army, Isabella, who was bathing, seemed to be thinking. Even if she returned to the demon nation, they would not accept her as their queen. Could she possibly spend her life as one of the humans? On the other hand, Xiang Ye appeared to be deep in thought. How could he find a way to return? If it was the ring that brought him into this world, could it bring him back? Xiang Ye didn't want to spend the rest of his life in this world, even though it was quite fascinating at first. It was indeed intriguing, until he witnessed others being slaughtered right in front of him. It was extremely terrifying. If he were to die now, would he return to where he came from? And if the ring was truly valuable, he would just use it on his finger. However, he could only use the ring on his ring finger. Then, the commander of the White Dragon Army approached him, surprising Xiang Ye when he saw him. At that time, Cephissus came to bathe with him, and Xiang Ye thought that Isabella was right if she had another intention. Then he looked at all his scars from the battlefield. Xiang Ye seemed to suspect what his real intention was. Then Cephissus said that tomorrow she would send someone to look for her family. Xiang Ye asked if the commander would help him find his family. That's true, but the information they provided was too little. Meanwhile, Xiang Ye made up that nonsense. He would be very surprised if he could find them. Then Cephissus told a story that she used to have a younger brother the same age as her. He was captured 12 years ago by the demon nation. She never saw him again since then. His name was Sophisac. Could Xiang Ye possibly know him? Then Xiang Ye said that there were many slaves, and how could he possibly know each one of them? Then Cephesus asked, what usually happens when a human is captured? Then Xiang Ye made up a lie. He said that all the slaves experienced beatings and abuse, and he was raised in the kitchen since he was little. Xiang Ye thought that Cephesus treated him well so that he could tell her something about her younger brother. Cephesus only hoped that her younger brother was still alive until now. That way she had a chance to meet him. Xiang Ye then said to please her, "It's annoying to be a slave, but the food is delicious." Who knows, maybe her younger brother has become a strong and handsome man by now. And Cephesus said that Lillian has become the new demon queen. Tells the story of Cephissus's noble father, whom he trusts the most. His father restrains himself because of his noble position, which is not a problem. The mayor would not have any intention to kill if it weren't for that. Besides, why would the mayor help someone who seems to be trying to befriend the enemy? Xiang Ye thinks it's a complicated situation. Then Xiang Ye encourages Cephissus, saying that he will definitely meet his brother. And when they finished bathing, Elena took him to her room. And when the door opened, he found Isabella changing her clothes. He was initially nervous, but he quickly closed the door, and he said that she should stop treating him like a demon queen. Since then, Elena has been watching them, and since she told everyone that they were already married, they were placed in the same room, and they had to behave as husband and wife to avoid suspicion. Upon hearing someone approaching, it turned out to be Elena. They started pretending to be in a relationship to make Elena leave. However, they only made fake sounds. Xiang Ye went overboard, so he hit her and made her sleep on the floor. Then he asked her how to return to his world, and she said she didn't know. It made him sad, but he remembered about the ring, and he asked for Isabella's ring. He put them together and tried to bring himself back to his world, but it was all in vain. On the other hand, Elena met the commander, and he told her not to watch over Isabella and Xiang Ye. Elena asked why he was helping them, and he said that when he saw Xiang Ye, he felt a familiar connection, and he thought he was his lost brother, because they looked alike. Elena said she was happy for him, because she hadn't seen him smile in a long time. Then Cephissus threw her onto the bed as his gift. Finally, they made love together. The next day, Xiang Ye woke up and Elena gave him new clothes. He realized that Isabella was not here, so he went out and tried to find her. He found her practicing with Cephissus and was amazed at how good she was. Then he saw Isabella also practicing and was fascinated by how skilled she was. Despite losing her powers, she didn't lose her abilities. Then Cephissus invited them to eat, but Xiang Ye said he wanted to leave his residence and said he didn't want to bother Cephissus. Cephissus said it was not a problem, that they could stay in his mansion forever. Except Isabella said they wanted to live on their own, and they didn't want to disturb her anymore. Cephissus said they didn't cause any trouble, and he could find them jobs in the kingdom. Then Isabella said she would rather go back to the demon kingdom and work for the demon tribe rather than work for them. Ren stated that in the past, humans were terrorized because of their weak form. Due to constant aggression, humans went in search of a dragon with extraordinary power to become their protector. The dragon aided in the city's development and also taught humans how to use magic. This is the reason why humans made the dragon their symbol. The king had 7 armies, each with a different dragon emblem. The 2 strongest armies were the black dragon and the red dragon. The armies that protected the city walls were the purple, teal, amber, and silver dragon armies. However, the white dragon army was the king's personal cavalry. They only acted during civil agreements or celebrations in the palace. If someone wants to escape poverty, the best way is to join the army and improve oneself. But there are only 2 ways to join the army. The first way is to improve oneself through training and prove that one is useful. The second way is to obtain a diploma from a respected school in the capital. Respected schools have sent many of their graduates to the king since their establishment. Ren stated that the headmaster, Vasily Andrei, is around 500 years old. He is experienced in all things related to magic, and his power has reached godlike levels. It is said that if all the teachers in that school unite, They can defeat thousands of armed forces. Then the scene shifts to Isabella screaming that she wants to become a student at a respected school. It doesn't matter if she has to learn swordsmanship or magic. She wants to become stronger. And Xiang Ye thinks that's the only way out of the human kingdom. However, Isabella says that she wants revenge. And Xiang Ye says that they want to save the human prisoners still imprisoned in the demon kingdom. But Sophisa says no, because fighting is not as easy as she thought. But Xiang Ye says that he has another goal in joining the school. He says that after he graduates they want to help him and his father, because only this way can they repay the kindness he has shown. Isabella thinks that Xiang Ye looks weak, but he is actually smart in speaking. Sophisa finally believes, and she registers them at the school, and she sees that Isabella has talent for the school. But she suggests that Xiang Ye should cook instead of fighting. It has been 2 months since the start of the academic year, and they can only enroll as late transfer students. Xiang Ye looks excited. Doesn't that mean they have to immediately choose between swordsmanship and magic? Swordsmanship and magic are 2 of the 9 branches of the academy. Magic, swordsmanship, close combat, and archery are the main branches in the school. Sophisa explains the differences between the branches in the school. She also says that there is a professor who will evaluate them to decide which branch is better for each of them, and a knight is assigned to guide them at the school. Before she leaves, she says that if they fail to pass the selection test, she will take them back to the mansion. Isabella and the others mock her. Today, these parents will teach them how to master the wind punch. But before learning the wind punch, they must know how to use shadow power. The parents are close combat fighter instructors. His name is Mike Yasso. Then he called his student named Eli. Mike gave him a stone and asked him to hit the statue with all his might. He destroyed the statue a little, and Mike asked him to show the stone, but the stone was already destroyed. Mike said that to learn the technique he must attack with all his might. But the stone must remain intact. Someone said it was impossible. Then Mike grabbed a small bird, and with all his might, he destroyed the statue, and he demonstrated it, and showed that the bird was still alive. His students were amazed, and asked themselves, how did he do that? This surprised Xiang Ye, and the knight introduced them as students who would take the entrance exam. Mike asked if he wanted to join his branch. Then he activated his power to scare them all. But he realized that Isabella was not afraid, and he suggested she join his branch. But she refused, because she wanted to join the branch of magic or swordsmanship. Knight thought that Xiang Ye was also fine. However, after he touched him, he eventually fainted because he couldn't withstand Mike's fierce power. He woke up after a few moments and was told that he failed the exam. Xiang Ye felt happy about it because he didn't see himself practicing for it every day. Then he introduced himself to someone who wanted to be his friend. That person introduced himself as Alex, and Knight accepted him as his friend. He bid farewell as he had to attend combat class, and Knight agreed to take them to the branch of magic and sword. Then we see the training field, where Dorona, the swordmaster, and Wadley Icy, the magic master, fought to decide which branch would use the training field. They both had equal strength, but they kept fighting and using powerful attacks. They managed to dodge, but almost killed an old man. Xiang Ye managed to save him. He was afraid that the attack would hit him, or he would die. Then Master Dorona pointed at him with the tip of his sword, and asked who he was, because he had never seen him at school before. And Xiang Ye said that he was just helping the old man from death. But when he turned to look at him, he was no longer there. Knight said that he was his friend, Sophisa, and when he heard that name, he really wanted to see her. But the knight said she didn't come, and angrily, he asked why they were there. He explained that they were new students, and they came there to take the entrance test. But before that, they would measure their strength first. Then, Master Wedley Icy gave them a ball to measure their strength. Dan Xiang Ye was unsure of what to do with the ball. He then asked the knight to inform him, and he began to explain. He said that it was a ball that revealed how much limit power was within each person, and that limit power is how strong someone is with training. If their limit power is low in magic and sword, they will be rejected. Then Isabella grabbed the ball. and when Dorona noticed that there was no glow representing her power, then she would reject it. But in this case, when the ball started to shine with a strong light, and it surprised everyone. The fact is that she has so much power. And Icy asked if she had ever studied magic before, and Isabella said yes, but for some reason, she lost her power. Then Master Icy accepted her in the magic branch, but Isabella went towards the sword branch, and she said that she was torn between magic and sword. Dorona underestimated her. She said she wouldn't make it to her branch, but Isabella said that she studied sword abroad, and she wanted to take the test. Master Dorona accepted it and sent Buri to fight with her as a test. Before they began to fight, he explained the rules. One of them was that they could not use all of their boundary powers. After the whole explanation, Buri started attacking her. However, Isabella easily avoided his attacks. Buri kept on attacking her, but none of the attacks were successful. Isabella closed in on him with one attack and used her extraordinary ability to make him fall back. This made him angry, so he used his boundary powers. A student stopped him and saved Isabella from the attack. Xiang Ye thanked him for saving his wife. This surprised everyone there. He told them that they were already married. Dorona was angry at Buri for using his boundary powers. On the other hand, he presented his strongest student. He really wanted Isabella to see him as a future opponent. Dorona inquired if her abilities were learned from the sword god teacher Mokia, and the answer was yes, surprising everyone. Since Mokia was known as the sword god, Dorona saw that she was very strong and accepted her as her student. However, Icy claimed that she was her student. They both started a fight to decide which of them would accept her as a student. But a funny interruption from Xiang Ye, asking for the measuring ball, so he could measure his strength. He thought he would have great power to become the protagonist of that world. But minutes passed by, and the ball still didn't shine. Not even a little bit. Then Icy took the ball from his hand, and she said she knew the result from the beginning. Then she called him a useless piece of wood. Other students also began to mock him, and the knight explained that a useless piece of wood is someone who has no limits of strength. It made him sad. Isabella shouted at the other students to be quiet, otherwise they would have to face her. Xiang Ye, hearing that, recovered and said that even though he had no power, Isabella would always protect him. And before he left to try another branch, he comforted her and wished her luck in whatever branch she chose on her journey ahead. She asked the knight if she could join a branch without having boundary power. He said yes. But for now, she couldn't choose or fight one by one. After a little walk, they reached the forging class, where she saw that they were drawing swords, but the drawings they made were very bad, and because of that, the child was very angry. A master appeared in the classroom. He was Master Martin. He asked Xiang Ye if he knew that their forging branch could create anything. Then the knight explained to him that Xiang Ye was kidnapped by demons when he was young to be turned into a slave. So he didn't understand much about human knowledge. Then Master Martin demonstrated how forging works in the human world. Martin then grabbed a large brush and drew a sword on the floor. And with one stroke of the brush, he created a sword. And somehow, the sword became real. Martin said that this is how humans create something. And if he wants to forge, he must have enough gold-mixed crystals. Xiang Ye didn't know what that was. He asked how to use it. Martin explained that if the crystal already contains magic, even children can use it. But mixed crystals come in different grades. While the pen he made was from a special type of crystal, it can make objects become real. Xiang Ye said that if that's the case, then it is a very powerful object. And does using it require boundary power? Master Martin laughed. He said no. Knight then whispered to Xiang Ye. He told Xiang Ye not to mention boundary powers in this place, especially because most people here are useless wood. Hearing that explanation made Xiang Ye happy. He then knelt before Master Martin to accept him as a student. Xiang Ye even hugged his legs. Then Xiang Ye showed his drawing skills, and his drawing surprised everyone. They did not expect Xiang Ye to be talented in drawing. Master Martin was very impressed with his talent. Then he explained. Learning skills is not considered important compared to other branches of education. There are many uses for people who excel in the subject. Xiang Ye said that being able to create real objects just by drawing sounded amazing. Then someone behind him said there were some rules and regulations regarding forging. First, forging was created to help living creatures on the plane. He must not create objects with bad intentions. He must also be careful with the objects created. Second, he must not steal materials for his creations. He must not be picky about what he creates, and it must be treated with care. Third, forging can only be done to create inanimate objects. Living creatures should not be created through skills, and Xiang Ye must adhere to these 3 rules. He assumed that this teacher was very kind. Considering the content of these 3 rules, he was sure he would not regret learning with them. Xiang Ye then knelt to accept him as a disciple. Knight also said that if Xiang Ye befriended the commander of the White Dragon Army, the commander would be very grateful to him. Master Martin also said that he could not miss this great opportunity to get a talented disciple like him, and starting today, he will accept him as a disciple. Then Master Martin gave him a pen. It was a crystal aura pen. It was an entrance pen that everyone received when joining his class. Getting it, Xiang Ye was very happy. For him, it was a magical pen. Inside the royal palace, the king appeared distressed as Tolzangus pressured him to make a decision. The arrival of Master Guro became his savior. He inquired about the mayor's desire to order the execution of the agriculture minister and the commander of the Silver Dragon Army. Tolzangus then used an excuse. If he sent a reconnaissance team to gather information about rumors of illegal activities within the walls, it seemed that the agriculture minister was already familiar with creatures from the east. The commander of the Silver Dragon Army was also found distributing rations to their people. The conclusion was that the unauthorized movement of military rations to enemy territory deserved a lifetime imprisonment. Master Guro explained that the East had recently experienced a severe drought. They were considering helping them create peace between the 2 nations. If they provided rations, not only would they assist them, but they would also establish a good relationship between the 2 countries during the process. However, Tolzangus still insisted. The East was filled with wild beasts. Why would they want to create peace with them? And worst of all, none of this was reported to His Majesty beforehand. They continued to argue, and Master Guro requested reconsideration of the decision to kill them. But Angus said it was too late. He showed him some of those who had already been captured, and one of them was the god of the Makia sword. He also showed the decapitated head of the agriculture minister in a box. The king was confused and asked Angus why he did it. Angus said it was because the king was a good person. What he did was a dirty job for him. And he also said that the Knights of the Black Dragon and the Red Dragon were on their way east to destroy them. When he heard about it, he asked the king to stop before it caused more tension with other tribes. But the king was not afraid. He knew what needed to be done. So this person let it be. And Makia realized it, that his power was back. He shouted again that he would not let his people in the tribe be annihilated, and he attacked the king to end it all. Sophisas stopped his attack, and he stabbed Makia. His life ended. Then this person approached the king to see how he was doing, and he delivered the final blow to Makia. The king became frightened because it was a beast, and Master Guro realized that everything had been planned by Angus, who was currently laughing evilly. Meanwhile, Xiang Ye was seen walking towards his dormitory. There, he saw several portals and he didn't know where those portals would take him. He then asked a knight, who informed him that those portals transported students from the academy to their residences. Due to the increasing number of students in the school, there were only student accommodations far from the school location. These portals were specifically designated to transport the students to their residences in the north. The accommodations in the east were slightly better in terms of facilities, so the rent there was a bit more expensive. The knight then said that if Xiang Ye wished to continue studying at the school, he had to stay there. Then, the knight handed Xiang Ye the dormitory key and mentioned that if he didn't want to stay in the desired campus, he could return by teleportation. He could also return to the mansion. However, if he wanted to stay there as desired, the knight would arrange the accommodation for him. Xiang Ye was grateful for Sophisas's kindness. He would try to find Sophisas's sibling when he returned to the demon tribe. Elsewhere, Cephesus and his father were walking and chatting. Master Guro was deeply saddened by the loss of his best person. He then said that he would tear apart the entire land to prove that he was wrong. He wouldn't let go easily. When they arrived there, a knight informed them that they already knew they were coming, but by the king's order, only he and Master Guro were allowed to enter. Guro instructed Cephesus to wait outside, and Cephesus experienced something bad about leaving his father alone. Master Guro called for the king, but he wasn't there. Angus emerged from the darkness and said that he sent the king to practice archery. Master Guro knew that this conversation wouldn't end well. Cephesus patiently waited outside for her father. She felt uneasy when a man named Sato appeared and started talking about leading his army of white dragons into battle. Cephesus stated that the White Dragon Army was formed to protect the noble ones. She wondered what was strange about their leader. Sato replied that the noble one was still too young. The leadership of the White Dragon Army naturally fell to the mayor. Then Cephesus realized that they had hurt her father. Sato laughed and said that the mayor was in control. Every move he made was controlled by them. Cephesus unsheathed her sword at his throat. Then Sato said that currently her father was just a teacher. He didn't even have command over anyone. Xiang Ye decided to stay in the northern campus. Upon opening the door, he found Isabella changing clothes again. However, he didn't mind as he had seen her do it before. Isabella talked about how good Cephesus was in taking care of them at the academy. Xiang Ye suggested escaping from the academy, but she refused because the academy controlled their students very well. They would know if they were not in their rooms. The magic teacher informed them that both the western and northern campuses were protected by a magical force field. The force field was like a glass panel that could not be broken. Not even the magic teacher could penetrate its protection. The force field was installed to protect the students, but it also meant that they couldn't leave. She asked for another plan, and he said they had to wait until he became stronger at the academy. He also mentioned that the demon tribe only accepted strong people as leaders, not someone weak. She felt sad and funny at the same time when she promised to take her back to the demon tribe so she could be queen again, and said she chose the forging branch because she was destined to be strong. Then she asked her which branch she chose. Isabella said she chose both, so she could quickly recover her strength. And both teachers accepted it. Xiang Ye took advantage of the conversation to climb into bed, and they continued to talk about how they could become stronger faster. And at the moment he saw her on the bed, he asked her to leave, but Xiang Ye said they were pretending to be a married couple, and his face turned red. They continued talking, until Isabella drove him away by threatening him with a sword, and he went to the floor where he started thinking about things he could do with his magic brush. The next day, Isabella woke up, and when she saw a silhouette in front of her, she grabbed her sword and asked who was there. But when she looked closely, she realized that it was a statue made by Xiang Ye, and when she got out of bed, she saw many other strange objects. She wondered to herself what they were. Then she heard some noise outside, and she realized that there were other creations made by Xiang Ye, and she planned to ask him everything about his creations at night. Their forging class was waiting for Xiang Ye, but since he didn't arrive, they were about to start the class without him. But at that moment, Xiang Ye arrived on a bicycle, and everyone was amazed by his creation, because in that world, there were no vehicles pushed by humans. When Martin saw Xiang Ye coming on a bicycle, everyone there was curious about the object. Then Xiang Ye taught him how to use it. It was complicated at first, but then he managed to ride it. However, Martin later destroyed the bike because he couldn't brake. Everyone was disappointed because they all wanted to try it. Xiang Ye then said he promised that he would make another bike, but he couldn't do it at that time because he ran out of gold-mixed crystals, because he spent all of it overnight. Xiang Ye tried things he wanted to do. He experimented a lot. Xiang Ye realized clearly that he wouldn't tell them what he had drawn. The pen worked with the mind. Material nature is produced through whatever you are thinking. So easily, Xiang Ye just needed to draw a simple picture to make what he wanted. Xiang Ye wondered what the world would look like if he brought his inventions from his world to them. Later, they returned to the classroom. where Master Martin gave them another crystal gold mixture, and he would explain how to distinguish high-level gold-mixed stones and their uses. Master Martin took out his bag from the workshop and explained to them that they could use the stones like a blacksmith. No, but it would endanger the user. He said that 2 decades ago he visited the dwarf tribe to improve his forging skills, and he saw that they were really successful in making beautiful objects. But what they created resulted in damage to their bodies, because they used a hammer like a blacksmith does. After Martin grew up in research, he realized that they could use stones in very small form by embedding them into a brush and drawing objects created from nothingness. Xiang Ye said that he did not fully understand, so he asked Martin, "Where did the alignment crystal gold stones come from?" Martin said that they were formed in the mines on the outskirts of the capital, but the problem was that they belonged to the Golden Dragon. A powerful golden dragon lived there. The king usually sent purple knight troops to collect them, and they would do so by refining the stones and selling them to fund the military. Moto said each stone was worth 10 gold coins, and everyone was surprised by that because it was a price that was too expensive. Xiang did not know the value of 10 gold coins. One of his schoolmates explained that it could feed 500 people, with 10 gold coins for a month's expenses. Hearing that made him scared, because he used them intentionally. Then Martin said that crystal stones are the lowest of the low. Medium-level stones cost around 50 gold coins for each stone. Then he explained that stones of different colors like red, which use fire as their base, they are valued up to 500 gold coins. Then he took out his magic brush, and he explained about the pale moonstone that he had in his pendant. It is considered a very rare mixed stone. Throughout the human race, only he holds that stone. He told stories about his youth. He learned the art of forging with the dwarves. Dwarves tend not to socialize with other races, but later on, they saw determination and knowledge in him, and made him one of their students. While staying within the dwarf race, Martin gained their friendship and trust. They also discovered new methods in forging together. The dwarf race only has 4 of these pale moonstones. Because of his achievements, Martin was awarded one of those stones. With that stone, Martin built a wall that protected the capital, and he explained that the power of the moonstone is limitless, but it comes with a price, which is extracting the consciousness of its user. One student said that this side effect surely does not affect the master because his appearance is quite healthy, but another student pointed to a photo where you could see a handsome man, and that was the master 10 years ago, and the student was surprised by it because now he is bald and ugly. On the other hand, Sophie Sassas was still upset with her father when she arrived home in a very upset state. Shortly after, her father arrived and got off the carriage. He said that everything was over. Seeing this, she wondered what had happened to her father. Was it the work of Tolls Angus? She looked very worried about what they could have done to her father. On the other hand, Isabella's hand office was practicing sword fighting, and in the end, Dorona congratulated her. She did more training than the others, but she felt uncomfortable because she easily got tired, which didn't happen when she had all her strength. Then she went home and found all these stone statues, both her masters, and she realized that they were made by Xiang Yi. Isabella took the blueprint, and Xiang Ye said it was the blueprint of the dwarf tribe, and the blueprint was given by Master Martin. Upon examining the blueprint, Isabella then realized that the dwarf race had developed rapidly. They were able to create a steam engine that surpassed the intelligence of the demon tribe. Isabella kicked it and warned them not to create too many things, or else their identities would be revealed. She also scolded them for making statues of her and her master and thinking inappropriate thoughts. She could deal with them. She even hit them the next day. She was happy because the steam engine was working and she could create a powerful machine. She saw her friends gathering in a place, and one of them said that teacher Martin went to the gold mine, and that's because when they went to buy stones last night, the price was too high. Wharton tried to convince them to sell it at a normal price, but they refused because they needed a lot of money for military service. So Martin went alone to search for the stone, but his students were worried about him because he was just a forging teacher, and he couldn't defeat the dragon on his own, while saying that he would seek help from another teacher. But one of his friends stopped him because they were protected by the king, saying he was too angry to do anything about it. Xiang Ye then sought out Sophisas. However, his companions said that it couldn't be done. This was because most of the hunts were organized by the White Dragon forces. Xiang Ye became very upset. Then he saw Alex and offered him money. He told him that he would go and buy a high-level gold mixed stone. With his magical brush, Xiang Ye then built a car to go and protect his master. On the other hand, Martin arrived at the mine, but one of the knights did not want to let him pass, because only the Purple Dragon knights were allowed to enter the mine. Despite all, Martin entered and began to search for the gold alignment, and then he took it. The others arrived at the mine and planned a way to enter to find them, but then an explosion occurred. They saw dust coming from inside, and Martin's teacher emerged from there. With the high-level gold mixed stone, he also defeated some monsters with the weapon he found with the help of the dwarves. The man was pleased with their help in using the high-level gold mixed stone subtly. If I may guess, the purification teacher collaborated with the Purple Dragon forces. At that time, some knights in the mine surrounded Teacher Martin and called him to enter the territory of the Purple Dragon Knights. Martin also called because the monster was not strong enough to be exchanged for the high-level gold mixed stone. The man said it was not his concern. He ordered to kill them so they could take the high-level gold mixed stone. But Isabella, along with Martin and Alex, defeated almost all of them. The Purification Master then attacked Alex, but Martin protected him, and his weapon was destroyed by the person using special slime that created many clones. He planned to attack them, but Xiang Ye had completed his creation. Xiang Ye was completely covered by rocks, and the Purification Master attacked the others. Xiang Ye neutralized all the strong attacks inside the mine, and he threw another attack at the Purification Master's side. He successfully diverted all attacks and hit the knights, and everyone was surprised to see Mecha emerge from the rocks. The Purple Knights were afraid when they saw Mecha. Martin was even more surprised because the dwarves wanted to build something like that, but they couldn't. However, Xiang Ye could do it. He began to neutralize all attacks that the master could do to him, but no attack could successfully damage Mecha and Xiang Ye. He started defeating the knights and captured Master Yalu, threatening him. He said they should not mess with them. We can see that the people behind all the chaos are the magistrate's family. Because they wanted to get more money, they planned to raise the price of their gold alignment. But a soldier came and said that the master of purification at the high-level gold mixed stone collection branch was captured. That surprised everyone. Xiang and his group arrived at the kingdom. However, the Purple Dragon Knight would not let them pass. The people behind them were surely the ones who raised the price of gold. They ordered to capture them under the law for collecting gold without any permission. But Sophisas arrived with another man. He told them to stop, and he informed Buri that the king sent him to stop them. He was there, but he did not obey. However, his uncle Ren released his power and made him obey the new order given by the king. But he was also amazed by his nephew's immense power that surpassed his own, ending the power that influenced him. Rene warned him not to be so reckless just because his father was the regent, because to Buri, he was just a piece of trash as well. Buri trembled because of the pressure of his uncle's imperial power promised to retaliate and would continue to remember it. Dorona scolded him for not going to class and asked Martin to take him to the office. But he refused because the king never gave that order. Xiang Ye thanked him because he cared so much to help them again. He ordered him not to do it again because he did not want to see him die. On the other hand, Isekai'd told Isabella that he chose her to represent the magic branch at the festival. But he fought again with Dorona because he also wanted Isabella to represent the fencing branch. Sophisas asked Xiang Ye to follow her to the palace. When they arrived there, they spoke with the king about the high-level gold-mixed stone price increase. At that time, they arrived to inform the king. Sophisas found that the leader of the Purple Knights raised the prices of materials in the city. He also said that this would add to the burden of the city's residents, although it was not okay. However, the king said that Sato is currently the commander of the Purple Dragon Army. He cannot make any major decisions, and he will seek advice from the mayor first, because he believed that the current military budget was very tight, and they had to leave it for now. Then Angus suddenly arrived. Then he said that he was just informed that the Purple Dragon Army was responsible for raising the price of the gold mixed stone and embezzling the military budget. He said that he had already taken care of everything. He had punished them because Angus hated thieves. Angus suggested handing over the task of collecting the mixed gold stones to the White Dragon Army and the forging class. Everyone was surprised by this. The king inquired about the military strategy. He suggested that the White Dragon Knights should handle it. Xiang Ye wondered to himself why Angus was helping them. The king accepted the suggestion. He asked for Martin's help in building an arena within 10 days for the upcoming festival. As he left the palace, he wondered why Angus was helping them. Angus said that he did it because Sophisis was the most important general to him. Then they continued talking. Angus said that he helped the king make decisions to make the empire better, because the king was still very young to make important decisions. Sophisis said that he should not take advantage of his power, which made Angus angry. Angus then asked if his father didn't tell him anything about what they had discussed last night. Sophisis remembered when he arrived home very upset. He would ask his father about what they were doing. Only then would he start a fight. But some soldiers came and told him that his father had hanged himself in the library. Sophisis became scared. The others were frightened and shocked. That evening, Xiang Ye seemed to be feeling pressured about what was happening. However, Isabella, who saw him, misunderstood him. Isabella then explained that she had no relationship whatsoever with Ren. Hearing that made Xiang Ye laugh. In fact, he was thinking about Sophisis. He felt sad because of her. Then he asked her which branch Isabella would follow in the festival. She said she decided to represent the swordsmanship class. Xiang Ye then continued to tease her about Ren, making the girl angry again. The next day was Master Guro's funeral. Xiang Ye was determined to help Sophisis seek revenge. But Dorona said it was very difficult because Angus was the strongest human, and when he was young, he was the only one who could hurt the ancient demon king. Sophisis said that he was not his biological father, and then he began to talk about his past, when they were very poor, but he was very happy living with his parents. And one night the village was attacked. His biological father was killed protecting the village, but his death was in vain. The village was destroyed. Sophisis found the bodies of his parents, but there was no sign of his younger sibling. After inquiring, he learned that his sibling had been sold by criminals to the demon tribe to be enslaved. From then on, he trained with the sword to find his sibling. The age of 15, he requested to join the military. He underwent training during the long battles against the demon clan. He also came close to being killed. One day, the master instructor came to inspect the troops. By then, Sophisis had been promoted to a warrior at the front lines. At that moment, Sophisis killed his own severely wounded comrade. The instructor asked him why he did that. He replied that his sibling had been sold to the demon clan to be enslaved. By joining the army, he could defeat the demon clan and reunite with his sibling. After joining the battlefield, he did not care about the extent of damage inflicted on the enemy. Allies would still suffer great losses. Sophisis was then taken away by his father from the front lines. He then joined the White Dragon forces and continued his mission. He stated that his father's desired world was a place where all nations could live in peace and unity. Dorona asked what they should do now. Sophisis said that he could only provide his support to carry on. Then we see Angus talking to a hooded man. He leaves after this, and the girls arrive to complete the mission of taking the heads of some people assigned by Angus. Angus assigns another mission to Sophisis. He has already enrolled him in the academy, where he must represent the archery branch, and gives him a photo of Xiang Ye to help him find his target. The next day, the forging branch went to the old royal arena to rebuild it. With the help of Master Yaso and Miss Icy, they completely demolished the arena and gathered all the debris, making it easier to rebuild. Martin thanked them. Xiang Ye noticed Alex and wondered to himself if he had a lot of money since he worked carrying forging materials. He said that he worked to support his family's economy while studying. Alex suggested that they win the festival to earn money and send it to his family. Xiang Ye asked how much the champion would receive. Four Eyes said that the champion would receive 1,000 gold coins and also a trophy made of solid gold. He also mentioned that they could obtain the rank of military commander after graduating from the academy. He was happy because with that rank he could leave the empire and return to the demon tribe. As they rebuilt the arena, Xiang Ye's senior came to help them. They owed so much to Master Martin. Then, Martin introduced the three of them. He asked them to come so they could help improve their forging skills while he was busy. And he also wanted them to participate in special training in the next 10 days. At the magic training place, Ren is seen practicing, and his magical powers are incredibly strong. He is quite confident that he will secure the first place. On the other hand, Isabella is also participating in the training alongside teacher Dorona. However, she has an illusion where she sees the bodies of her subordinates sacrificed because of her. She sees herself as a demon queen. This reminds her that it is all her fault for desiring a peaceful agreement with humans. She also debates why she believed in Lillian. Isabella is furious. Dorona observed the extraordinary power that Isabella possessed. Dorona was astonished to see all the limits of that evil power. Sophisus was walking through the government building. He saw discoveries that he had never seen before in the capital city. He was also surprised to see all the citizens using objects that he had never seen. When he saw a store, he realized that all those discoveries were creations of Xiang Ye. Then he went to the royal arena to see Xiang Ye. But he was informed that Xiang Ye had gone to the southern forest with Alex. Before Xiang Ye went there, he instructed them to give all the money he had for military purposes, but they refused to accept it because it was hard-earned money from the people. Then Martin explained to him that now they could mine themselves by replacing manpower with advanced machines, and also with the help of the fighter class, and the cost of the work became very low. Modo said that this mixed stone used to cost 10 gold coins each. Lord Yalu could refine it to 5 gold coins. Then it was changed to 2 gold coins. The cost of living has decreased, and all the money here is the right obtained from Xiang Ye's discovery. On the other hand, Xiang Ye and Alex arrived in the southern forest, where they found useless wood. And they called it that because the metal was very hard, and they couldn't use it for anything. Xiang Ye wanted to see if he could make a saw machine to cut the wood. Unfortunately, the saw broke. It didn't even make a scratch, let alone cut it. Alex didn't understand why he needed that useless wood, but Xiang Ye said that it was useless only because they couldn't use it. But if they managed to use it, it would be a valuable source. On the following day, everyone was preparing for the festival. The king announced the start of the festival and gave orders to each branch representative to step into the royal arena. Each branch entered. The audience was curious about which class would be the winner this year. Then someone said it was definitely between swordsmanship or magic. However, it was not certain as the fighter class almost won last time. When they entered, because everyone thought they were there just to make them lose. The participant called the 9 Winds was angry, but his master asked him to come to avoid trouble. After so many branches, the forging branch to the arena. However, the others were stressed because they always finished last in the festival. Xiang Ye tried to cheer them up, but Martin also experienced depression afterwards. Each branch is inside the arena. Sophisus explained that the competition festival rules would last for 5 days, and they would be separated by categories. The first one would cross the empire and one day would go from location to location around the empire. And when they passed through the portal, they would receive coins worth 10 points. There would also be 10 hidden coins in the kingdom. The first 16 contestants with higher points would successfully advance to a new category. He also said that there were dangerous obstacles in each location, and after he finished explaining, a door appeared with a very dangerous location. And everyone started to enter. The forging branch scared. But they entered, and that's where Master Yalu came and told Martin to prepare the graves of his disciples because they would not return alive. Xiang Ye passed through the door and he realized that there was a lake called the Lake of Echoes. The girl explained to him that it was called that because if someone shouted, the people on the edge of the lake created echoes that lasted longer than usual. Rene approached Isabella and asked her if she wanted to cross the lake with him, but she went towards Xiang Ye saying that she would go with her husband. Seeing Isabella holding her hand, he had the idea of crossing the lake together. This made Ren angry, because he said that he did not respect married women. All students began to cross the lake, and as they all got further away, the forging class was waiting for Xiang Ye to build something. So they crossed the lake. Xiang Ye built a cruise ship, and the girl asked why she didn't teleport objects. She had already been created, and Xiang Ye said that when forging, she didn't need to draw very well. What she wanted to build depended on how we think. So if she had a boat sketch, she could make all kinds of boats with the same drawing. The girl started flirting with Xiang Ye and his partner. Moto said that she shouldn't tell her secrets to her rival. Xiang Ye said that she didn't need to worry. And at that moment he could see that Isabella was angry. And when he realized that she saw him, he turned his head, so she couldn't see him like that. The girl introduced herself as Aisha and asked for her help, because she and her partner had a giant cat that didn't want to enter the lake because it was afraid of water. Moto opposed taking them because they were rivals, but Aisha said that if they helped them, she would repay the favor. Everyone in the forging class agreed, and they prepared to cross the lake. On the other side, the audience was watching the students. And then we see Martin worried about them. Xiang Ye arrived with his cruise ship, surprising some students because the boat was fast. The king was also surprised to see what he did. The king praised him because he thought he would be a great blacksmith in the future. Sophisis was happy to hear those words and to see that they were talking about Xiang Ye. Rennes, on the other hand, was in the first position but suddenly got attacked by some tentacles. Seeing that, he hurried to save his friend who was once captured by those tentacles. Once again, he reached the surface. He asked what that was, and at that moment the creature emerged. It was the guardian of the lake called the King of Emptiness. He was the king of the empty lake sound protector. The monster began to attack them, and everyone started to fight back, but no one succeeded in attacking the monster. Ren, in anger, used his magic and surrounded the beast with water, lifting it into the sky so it couldn't disturb him on his journey. This surprised everyone. It demonstrated how powerful he was. When the king saw, he asked if Ren could be as strong as a magistrate in the future. Sophisis was very honest and said it was very strong, but he couldn't compare him to a magistrate, because he couldn't compare training fields with battlefields. On the other hand, the lead partner apologized for delaying him, but Eli didn't want to continue without them. And at that moment, Xiang Ye appeared to help them board his cruise ship so they could continue their journey. And the Void King fell near them, with its color changing to red. He explained that if the Void King turned red, it might become a Class S monster, so that's why he tried to stop it. Xiang Ye stopped him, and together with the class forged, they activated some devices, and he gave them a strange, powerful one. It was a minigun. Xiang Ye initiated an unexpected attack on the vacant king with a minigun, astonishing everyone with its power. It was during their assault on the vacant king that he pleaded for them to stop, as they were hurting him, and Xiang was surprised to learn that he could speak the human language. Then, he transformed into a young boy who explained that his master had ordered him to participate in the festival. Xiang mistakenly believed that the boy had a coin, so he asked him to hand it over. Meanwhile, Rennes managed to reach another door, where he found 2 coins and left. Soon after, other students arrived and realized that the first place would receive 2 coins, while the second place would only receive 1 coin. They believed that they couldn't surpass the rent they had to pay with just that amount. Xiang Ye arrived and was delighted to have successfully passed the first round, where he obtained 2 coins. After receiving them from the empty king, he handed 1 coin to Isabella, but she refused to accept it as she wanted to earn her own coin. Thus, they all proceeded to the next round, where they found themselves in a burning forest. The burning of this forest was carried out by the local family, who set it on fire to summon the forest spirits to kill Xiang Ye under Yalu's command. On the other hand, Xiang Ye was on his way, and when he realized that the fire was intentionally set, he questioned himself about the identity of the person behind this idea. Then, they encountered several people fighting against the forest spirits. Aisha assisted them with her magic, while Isabella attacked the forest spirits until they shattered into pieces. However, they were able to regenerate because of their abilities. Xiang Ye tried to communicate with them so that they wouldn't have the intention to fight. but they didn't want to let them go, as they believed they were responsible for the fire. Ren interrogated one of the spirits, and they revealed that a human had started the fire. Ren became angry upon learning that there were people in front of him who orchestrated the fire. On the other hand, someone else managed to hold a spirit within them. They sensed that someone was hiding, so they asked them to come out of their hiding place. Upon their arrival in the forest, they discovered that their team was missing. As they reached the location, they felt a significant energy barrier, which prompted them to assume battle positions. Suddenly, roots emerged from the ground and began attacking them. Aisha used her magic to shield them. Then, out of nowhere, the Thorn Queen monster appeared, which was ranked S. As she started attacking them, everyone targeted her back. However, no attack seemed to affect her. She was incredibly strong. Isabella began attacking to divert her attention and then cut her in half with her sword, using a combination of swordplay and magic. But the queen emerged from the tree, attacking her from behind. At that moment, a large ball hit the queen's face, sending her flying far away. The one who helped them introduced herself, but they mocked her upon hearing her voice, which sounded like a woman's. However, they apologized afterwards. Isabella inquired about how the queen emerged from the trees, and Aisha explained that the Thorn Queen relied on the energy of the trees to survive. Her tail was connected to every root, allowing her to extract the life force. Then the queen appeared once again and initiated a new battle. Xiang Ye knew that the other two came from the pastoral branch, as he asked them to heal his friends and he would compensate them in exchange for the fight. The queen almost killed Xiang Ye's friend, but the forging branch intervened with the weapons that Xiang Ye had made and bought some time ago, and he created an even stronger weapon, and he began to fight against the Thorn Queen. At that moment, Isabella asked her to stop. She began to release almost all of her boundary powers, surprising everyone because those boundaries were as strong as hers. She approached the queen, who finally remembered her, and once the Thorn Queen noticed her boundary powers, she remembered the past when she was a child and lived with Isabella in the demon tribe. But because she couldn't live in a place with so much magic, Isabella freed her and promised to return in the future when she could change the living conditions. When the queen remembered her, she began to cry tears of joy and almost called her Demon Queen. However, Isabella told her not to reveal her identity. At that moment, the giant cat that could also speak said that the dark boundary power came from the demon tribe, scaring everyone. Upon hearing Xiang Ye, she couldn't explain what happened there, so Moto explained that they had both been enslaved by demons. Therefore, she may have learned. Someone said that she began to act as if she didn't want to talk about the past with the demon tribe, but deep down, she was happy and grateful to Moto for intervening. Then Isabella arrived. She was talking to the queen and informing them that some people had set the place on fire, but it wasn't them, so it should be someone else who was in front. Thus, they resolved the misunderstanding. However, because they didn't want to leave the forest like that, the twins extinguished the fire with their magic. The queen apologized for blaming them for everything, so she gave them 5 coins she found around the forest as a reward for saving the forest. Isabella gave them 2 coins, and the twins also handed over theirs because they no longer had the boundary power to continue. Almost everything they got 2 coins. Others could also continue the festival, and the queen wanted to accompany Isabella, but she refused because she had to escape from humans. The first time it happened, she promised to come back and find her again, and she would be happy. When they were at the door, they saw that there was a coin. They finally took it after a rock, paper, scissors match. But the girl who worked for Angus took it from her. Some of them did not want to return the coin. He said he would start a fight with them. He told them to leave it because he wanted to get the coin himself. On the other hand, the regional family fought against some monsters, but they couldn't defeat them because of how strong they were in that aspect. When Renus arrived, he killed every monster and got 3 more coins, and once he knew they started shooting, he warned them to retreat. Xiang Ye and the others faced difficulty crossing the mountain in the next chapter due to the strong wind. While walking, Eli accidentally stepped on a trap, causing the ground to start collapsing. However, the archery girl helped them and the others by stopping the rocks. The rocks then combined to form a giant golem. She destroyed the golem with her limited power, but it was all in vain as they eventually regenerated themselves, creating an even larger golem. It began attacking Eli. The girl with the ribbon wanted to help him, but Xiangye stopped her as it was a battle. Since then, Eli had kept his coin and remained calm, wanting to see his full potential in combat. And at that moment, they felt an immense power emanating from Eli, and he destroyed the golem in a truly epic manner. Everyone was astonished by Eli's limit-breaking strength. Even Ren, who was beautiful in front of them and had badly received various coins, had her arm injured after using that attack. Everyone who witnessed his power was shocked by how strong he was, even the people who took coins from him. After that, they continued walking, but some of them couldn't go on because they were too tired. So Nainai used one of her abilities to help them continue. After some time, they reached the door, where they released their friend and decided to surrender and entrust everything to him to win the festival. But Xiangye worried about Eli when he saw his injured arm. However, Eli reassured him not to worry, that he could keep going. This girl didn't want to see him like that, so she reached for his hand. With his power, he healed her. Everyone was jealous seeing how he healed her wound. On the other hand, Rennis was quite tired. Suddenly they saw some cars coming in. Where Xiangye and his group were inside, they looked quite fresh because of the ice made by Aisha. When Buri saw that, he ordered them to let them in. Xiangye and the others teased him, and they disobeyed, leaving them alone, and one of his relatives threw a spit at the car that disturbed them. After crossing the desert, they reached the Kingdom of Ice, where almost everyone got coins, and everyone in the freezing branch. Xiangye built a helicopter to cross the peak faster, but he decided to keep walking because he wanted to test himself. After everyone said he turned on the helicopter and they found Ren on the way, he climbed the mountain with empty hands. Everyone asked why he didn't use his magic to climb faster, and then Aisha realized something was wrong. At that time, a projection failure began in the royal arena. It disturbed the audience because they wanted to continue watching the festival, and one of them explained that the students were in the absolute belt. He explained that the creature in the scene eliminated their ability to use boundary power, and now they will have to pass that round only by using their core abilities, since they could see the projection that made them bored for hours waiting to see who finished first. In terms of that category, they saw someone getting out of the door. Everyone realized that the cooking branch finished the round faster. At that time, his coins came out of him, and they combined for a total of 30 points, and the second place was Eli, and counting his coins, he got a total of 40 points. And people were surprised and saw what he did. Before everyone started supporting him to win the third-place festival, Renz broke the festival record by scoring 100 points, and so everyone came one by one. Moto was sad and he arrived alone, making Martin worried and others asking where Xiangye was. Buri said that he might already be dead, and Moto blamed him. Worried, he went down to the arena to ask Moto what happened to Xiangye, and he recounted everything that happened when they reached the mountain peak. Xiangye's helicopter was about to unload his belongings, so no one could copy his future, and at that moment the regional family arrived, one of them taking a coin from Xiangye with disgust. Eli attacked him, but his limited power did not work in the mountain. The local family began to mock them. However, since Xiangye did not need limited power, he created a rocket launch that made the local family come down, and after that, the fight began. But Xiangye told the others to leave because the branch test had advantages there. Since then, they did not need limited power. Eli decided to give everything in and faked a branch hand, because he also needed to help others cross with natural power. Both sides fought, and Buri planned to kill Xiangye with his sword. But Isabella intervened, sending him flying with a swing of her sword. Xiangye told her to leave and continue like the others, but she did not want to. She wanted to take the family mayor's coin, and with that, everyone successfully reached the final door. One of the family members created a giant hammer and smashed the floor until it broke. This caused the entire branch of the forge to fall into a hole. Isabella saved everyone, but when she was about to save Xiang Ye, she didn't realize that a large piece of ice was behind her. So Xiang Ye moved to shield her. The large piece of ice hit his head and he lost consciousness, and both of them fell to the bottom of the mountain. When Eli heard that, he planned to start a fight, but Isabella gently stopped him, saying that if he did, he would be disqualified from the tournament. However, Eli didn't care. He wanted to hit them. But at that moment, Isabella passed through the last door carrying Xiang Ye, and after a little, she did. She was very weak. Aisha asked why she made it to the door and carried someone who was useless. But she said that he was not useless, that he was her husband. Before fainting, Yibei asked them to give Xiang Ye one of his coins. After that, the first category festival ended, and all 16 students who successfully completed the category. Xiang Ye woke up in the hospital where he was told that from the forging branch only he and Modo made it to the next category. Xiang Ye asked about Isabella, and they said that she recovered quickly and is now practicing sword with Sophisis in Tama. When Xiang Ye arrived, they told him not to practice so much because his wounds were not completely healed. And when talking about how she helped him, Isabella said she did it only because she wanted weak rivals for the next category. Xiang Ye was angry at how she treated him and spoke to her. Sophisis said he should get ready, since he will be facing the district family. In the early morning, he was surprised, but then he decided to finish it with them, because they almost killed him in the last round. The next day, the second round began. They were surprised because the forging branch got 2 students into the next category. Modo was afraid in the room because he never thought he would be in the next round. He said he asked him to calm down. The question was asked why he was so confident as he was about to fight against members of the district family. He answered that he was not afraid since he was prepared with everything to kick their butts in the arena. So Hisus announced the fight, bringing Buri from the sword branch and Xiang Yi from the forging branch. Once they entered the arena, the battle began. Xiang Ye pushed him to the edge of the arena, causing his creation to explode and throw him out of the arena. Xiang Ye thought he had won, but slime started protecting him, because the bushi did not fall completely. After that, Xiang Ye used an explosion with a firestone to burn his slime. Since then, it was his weakness, and he said that he knew what his weakness was. In the past, since he used his slime everywhere except in the desert. With that said, Xiang Ye created a special weapon for him. Bushi found himself trapped inside a blue sphere. He tried to escape but couldn't because the top part was made of red iron.
He walked along the corridor, sensing the trap's purpose extended beyond simple confinement or deception. The enemy revealed their scheme, explaining shattered stones contained something carefully prepared to ensure his downfall. Blue mechanical limbs erupted, binding his body tightly, leaving him immobilized as he struggled against their strength. Dragged across broken terrain, he realized the environment itself conspired. Hidden within fractured rocks, glowing devices ticked ominously. Realization struck him sharply. The stone's true nature was no forged material, but concealed treacherous power. He understood instantly. Every move had been anticipated, his opponent controlling the situation since their very first encounter. The timer's final beep echoed. An overwhelming explosion erupted outward, engulfing the battlefield in fire. Elsewhere, allies sensed the eruption's shockwave, their faces reflecting fear. Across the arena, Powerful observed closely. Excited spectators erupted with admiration, astonished by the sudden turn and unexpected brilliance revealed before them. Among the crowd, armored leaders questioned the outcome. Whispers spread, voices praising craftsmanship's rise, acknowledging their surprising influence within the contest's growing intensity this year. Others voiced concern, realizing the youth's actions risked severe punishment for confronting someone of royal bloodline. A massive sphere dominated the arena. From within a crystal orb, cloaked observers monitored the scene. One observer acknowledged superior intelligence, recognizing displayed forging mastery surpassed expectations and exceeded prior comparisons with Mark. Yet another voice cast doubt, warning royalty's strength should not collapse so quickly, without further resistance. Onlookers in regal attire exchanged concerned expression. Royal authority reaffirmed competition's rules, declaring death within matches held no consequence beyond signed indemnity agreements. Standing in silence, determination weighed heavily upon him. Memories haunted him. The reality of killing before reminding that such tragedy could easily repeat itself again. Resolute thoughts formed victory meant proving worth, showing capability to protect, and earning freedom beyond restrictive walls. Nervous tension returned, sweat forming as sudden realization struck. The arena trembled violently, dust falling as cracks spread, ground split open wider, thunderous vibrations echoing. Shock filled his eyes as realization struck. Survival from the devastating explosion meant an enemy still endured. From shattered debris, powerful movements erupted. A clawed hand burst forth, tearing through stone. From shattered stone emerged a towering beast, its form radiating menace as mocking words accompanied its reveal. The creature advanced boldly, claiming transformation forced by battle's pressure, acknowledging its opponent's unexpected persistence and resilience. With glowing eyes and sharpened fangs, the monstrous transformation embodied raw strength, escalating danger within the arena. Stunned, realization struck. This adversary possessed shape-shifting powers, making victory far more difficult than previously imagined possible. Spectators erupted in shock, pointing fearfully as they recognized the truth. What stood before them was a dragon. Royal advisors urgently addressed the throne, their concern rising as the battle's intensity revealed unexpected transformation. Memories of past wars surfaced, recognizing dragon forms previously witnessed, questioning the uniqueness of displayed abilities. Confirmation came swiftly, acknowledgement granted that transformation belonged exclusively to royal lineage, a heritage of power. The crown bearer prepared to clarify further, explaining secrets openly, deeming the knowledge unworthy of continued concealment. Truth unfolded. Each male descendant of royalty inherited draconic strength from birth, legacy entwined within bloodlines' continuity. Infants were presented before the Dragon Lord, establishing an ancient pact binding royal heirs to draconic essence. Through ritual, the chosen received dragon blood, awakening hybrid potential, merging human lineage with ancestral beast power. Curiosity rose as observers questioned lineage directly, wondering if authority figures themselves carried such transformative abilities. Revealed calmly, acknowledgement came. Dragon blood coursed through veins of royalty, affirming shared connection with ancestral might. Explanation concluded. Transformation strengthened body beyond limits, forging hardened structure nearly impervious to weapons or destructive force. The greatest strength lay in amplifying boundary force tremendously, granting power levels varying between individuals uniquely. Questions arose among nobles, concern voiced whether Shangye possessed ability to withstand such overwhelming transformations. Attention shifted as monstrous foe revealed origins, declaring the summoned entity was known as Dragon Crystal Slime. Explanation followed. Sustenance drawn directly from lifeblood enabled the creature to thrive, bonding predator and master inseparably. Feeding ritual completed, energy surged, slime's strength magnified beyond comprehension, evolving into an unstoppable force of devastation. Many years ago, the man journeyed with determination, seeking secrets hidden within the ancient dragon cave. Legends spoke of a resting place untouched, where power once lingered, drawing him deeper into the cavern. Inside the cave's shadows, he discovered a weakened black slime, silently pulsing, waiting for something to change. He brought the strange creature back to the kingdom, conducting experiments to understand its hidden, dangerous potential. The slime devoured its helpless host, growing vigorous and active, proving its terrifying strength through ruthless consumption. The fusion of dragon blood and slime granted Bush immense strength, his body radiating raw destructive power. Observers compared him to elite warriors, realizing this enhanced form surpassed ordinary classes, a terrifying new threat. Despite overwhelming explosions, Bush endured without faltering, his resilience proving nearly unstoppable against every assault unleashed. Realizing conventional tactics were failing, and drastic action was necessary. Seizing powerful weaponry, he prepared heavy artillery, unleashed relentless fire. Blazing rounds streaked across the ground. The monstrous body absorbed impacts, slime coating rippling as bullets struck. Darkened skin gleamed under bursts of sparks, eyes glowing fiercely. Smoke drifted around empty weapons. Bullets scattered across the ground, striking continuously. Each impact bounced harmlessly away, the creature's slime-coated defense proving impervious to conventional force and sustained fire. With powerful strides, the monstrous launched forward, shattering the ground beneath, eyes sharpened with unwavering focus. Shattered metal pieces scattered violently across the arena floor. Energy surged across the ground as blades of force erupted. A colossal barrier of red steel emerged, towering high. The protective wall trembled violently as immense pressure collided. Empowered strength shattered expectation. With unstoppable blows, hardened steel crumbled like fragile stone, proving defenses meaningless before overwhelming, monstrous strength. The ground shattered violently as colossal strikes ripped through debris. Tentacle-like extensions lashed outward, piercing through the air. Darkened forms stood towering, posture unshaken. Unexpectedly, golden substance erupted, burning fiercely upon contact. Struggling to tear free, movement slowed as adhesive force bound tightly, halting momentum with suffocating resistance. Golden substance clung tightly around legs, rooting movement. A barrage followed instantly, projectiles infused with golden resin striking hard. Darkened body strained, thrashing violently as burning adhesive tightened grip. Frustration twisted across sharp features, defiance echoing despite restraints, willpower burning against the golden trap's suffocating hold. A small container rolled forward, its faint green glow pulsing ominously. Beeping charges scattered across the battlefield. Explosions erupted violently, shockwaves tearing through stone as debris scattered. Through crumbling rock, the restrained emerged, body battered but unbroken. Dust cleared to reveal the arena scarred, craters carved deep. Darkened creature roared defiantly, flames of anger igniting, proclaiming resistance as golden bindings burned without effect. The towering foe advanced confidently, unaware of the concentrated energy gathering quietly within fractured stone. Amid shattered rubble, a glowing weapon was raised, its radiant core pulsing with increasing destructive energy. The enemy's eyes narrowed, sensing danger, body tensing instinctively against the imminent surge of unleashed power. Blue light burst from the broken ground. They watched curiously, doubting the strange materials, unaware hidden power waited beneath the seemingly ordinary lumber. Suddenly, the ground quaked as an immense dome erupted. From shattered stone, a monstrous warrior emerged, roaring with fury, its crimson eyes burning with savage intent. Before chaos spread, Xiang Ye activated a mysterious device. The beast lunged forward, but radiant energy surged upward. The monstrous warrior summoned dark spikes. It charged forward violently, claws tearing the ground, determined to crush the lone defender standing against impossible odds. Xiang Ye stood firm within the narrowing spikes. The monster's strike collided fiercely, yet an unseen force shielded him. Confusion spread across the beast's furious face, astonished that mysterious energy effortlessly nullified its overwhelming destructive assault. The monster staggered back, crashing violently into stone. Xiang Ye's determined gaze sharpened, confidence rising as he felt the enemy's strength falter beneath his strategy. Observers gasped when a strange container emerged from shattered ground, its presence radiating mystery and unexplainable energy. Skeptical whispers spread among the crowd, doubting such an ordinary object could restrain the prince's terrifying might. Fury burned within the monster's eyes, frustration mounting as its pride cracked under the device's defiant challenge. The monster gathered sinister energy, conjuring glowing spheres of destruction pulsing violently with unstable, chaotic power. With a guttural roar, it hurled the spheres forward, each projectile ripping through the air like meteors. The blazing orbs streaked across the battlefield, tearing stone apart. Energy surged within the twin spheres, their cores swirling violently. The monster's fury deepened as it guided the spheres closer. Monster sneered confidently, believing no defense could withstand his devastating magic, arrogance swelling within glowing eyes. Shock struck him as the destructive spell vanished harmlessly, leaving the mysterious container completely untouched and spotless. Xiang Ye stood firm before the unyielding box, declaring its strength born from useless lumber misunderstood before. Confusion twisted the monster's face, unable to accept such ordinary material forging walls stronger than divine spells. With calm defiance, Xiang Ye revealed hidden strategies, reminding his foe that true strength lies within preparation. Realization struck the bystanders, their eyes widening as understanding dawned about Xiang Ye's careful hidden strategy. They recalled his secretive digging, now revealed as preparation to conceal mysterious lumber beneath the battlefield's ground. Shock rippled through the crowd, unable to believe something deemed worthless could forge defenses against overwhelming strength. Admiration grew among companions, recognizing Xiang Ye's foresight in requesting assistance to transport the underestimated precious resource. Memories resurfaced of hauling the heavy lumber, finally understanding its purpose in crafting the impregnable defensive creation. Xiang Ye addressed Prince Tolsbury with calm defiance, unshaken by the looming threat before him. A faint smile crossed his face, recalling the insult once hurled at him during training days. He reminded the prince of that cruel moment, when mockery branded him with the name Useless Lumber. The prince sneered, dismissing him as a worthless peasant, blinded by arrogance and festering superiority complex. He stood proudly, declaring that useless lumber's true worth lies beyond firewood, embodying strength misunderstood by many. Shangya reminded them all that they dismissed useless lumber, branding it worthless, incapable of serving practical use. He admitted his lack of boundary force, unable to wield magic or swordsmanship like the others. Their insults echoed back, branding him as worthless, yet he transformed their scorn into unshakable determination instead. Shangya declared the truth: useless lumber was strongest material known, surpassing steel, harder than any forged weapon. His voice resonated with conviction, vowing that today he would prove its unmatched worth before everyone. The crowd realized Shangye's creation wasn't only defense, it possessed potential for powerful counterattacks as well. Gripping his weapon tightly, Shangye's eyes blazed with determination, preparing to unleash strength forged from hardship. He declared himself the true juggernaut, demanding every enemy's focus, his voice resonating with unwavering conviction. Energy surged through his weapon, fusing with his will. The mysterious box responded, channels glowing with purple energy.
A massive black cube radiating with purple lightning sits embedded in the rocky arena floor. Its surface hums with energy, holding back something immense. The ground is cracked around it from the pressure within. Inside the cube, a muscular demon with glowing eyes grits his teeth in disbelief. His form is powered up, brimming with energy. Yet the barrier suppresses him. He is frustrated that his transformed state cannot overpower the container. Suddenly, heat engulfs the space inside. The demon's stance shifts as he senses a rapid temperature rise. Flames begin to flicker along the ground, signaling the start of a dangerous change in the environment. Outside, a figure stands calmly in front of the cube. Despite the demon's cries, the exterior remains sealed. The man watches silently as the purple lightning intensifies across the surface. Inside, the demon's body starts to crack. His skin glows red and his teeth bare as agony takes over. The internal heat becomes unbearable, and his empowered form begins to break under the pressure. Wounds burst open across his body. The fire has turned hostile, targeting even his flesh. His muscles sizzle under the growing inferno, and control begins to slip from his grasp. Screaming for help, the demon pleads with unseen forces. His arrogance has collapsed into desperation. The flames reflect in his wide, terrified eyes. Molten puddles form around him as his body deteriorates. The floor burns, and his movements slow. Every second costs him more of his strength and stamina. He drops to one knee, struggling to remain conscious. Just as he starts to surrender, a golden magic circle forms under his body. A hand, holding a glowing seal, initiates an unknown spell. Outside, the dark cube remains sealed, but now smokes faintly. The crackling purple lightning slows, the battlefield quiets for the first time since the battle started. Spectators gasp in shock. Many wonder if the demon has perished. Silence spreads through the stands as fear and anticipation rise. Two warriors express frustration, urging their ally to recover. Meanwhile, the enemy tactician panics over his creature's unexpected defeat. From the arena stands, a voice demands the immediate release of the captive prince. The scene grows tense as authority intervenes. Xiang Yi, standing in front of the sealed cube, questions the necessity of surrender. His calmness contrasts the chaos behind him. Despite being reminded of tournament rules, Xiang Yi raises his sword, reaffirming his choice. He rejects the idea that this is just a match, hinting that something more is at stake. Xiang Yi stands firm in the arena, questioning how prior disasters like the forest fire and mountain incident were linked to their opponent. His eyes are sharp with realization, connecting dots the others had missed. Another competitor clenches his jaw, beginning to understand that these events were not accidents. Suspicion builds in the crowd as guilt and karma are mentioned, casting doubt on the fallen fighter's integrity. A group of spectators reacts in shock as they realize the forest fire might have been caused by the same fighter, now lying silent. Meanwhile, Xiang Yi, cautious and calculating, hesitates to approach, suspecting deception. Tension spreads among the audience. Multiple powerful figures, including warriors and mages, identify someone unexpected. Their eyes widen with alarm as they recognize a hidden enemy. A woman with white hair narrows her gaze while Xiang Yi stands watchfully. A strange purple energy swirls behind him, warping space and drawing attention. From within the energy cloud, a burnt, weakened body begins to emerge. Half conscious, the figure barely lifts his head as the crowd and Xiang Yi prepare for what comes next. A tall man with long blonde hair and a glowing presence appears before the crowd. He wears a royal white cloak with dark feathers. Surrounded by a ripple of power, his sudden arrival shifts the atmosphere instantly. Xiang Yi watches closely as the man formally greets the prince. The newcomer introduces himself and reveals that he is stepping in at the request of Vasily Andrei, signaling an official intervention. The figure walks with authority toward the center. A student in the audience politely addresses him as principal. Confirming his identity and position within the academy, the arrival of the principal shocks the spectators. Many hadn't expected such a powerful figure to attend the tournament in person, considering his usual absence from public events. Xiang Yi processes the revelation. He realizes that the elegant man is the headmaster of the Royal Academy, a mysterious figure rumored to be centuries old. The crowd expresses disbelief about his youthful appearance. Meanwhile, the principal explains that he initially intended to stay hidden, but found the match too thrilling to ignore. Xiang Yi narrows his eyes, analyzing the principal's aura and suspecting that he might be a werewolf. He remains cautious, unsure of the man's allegiance. The principal firmly takes Xiang Yi's hand and raises it. The moment is decisive, clearly indicating the conclusion of the battle and the outcome of the match. With his arm held high, the principal declares Xiang Yi the winner of the round. Representing the forging class, the audience erupts in cheers. Their voices filling the arena, Xiang Yi shows a faint smile, acknowledging the crowd's support. His quiet confidence is visible as he absorbs the moment of victory. Other competitors observe the outcome in silence. Their reactions are mixed, some show interest, others concern, and a few seem to recognize his strength. Students from Xiang Yi's class erupt in celebration. They cheer loudly, overwhelmed with excitement at their class's unexpected triumph. On the battlefield, two allies rush to the fallen fighter, Bushi, urging him to wake up. His condition appears critical as he lies motionless. Xiang Yi remains composed, but the enemies glare at him with rage. They shout threats, vowing revenge for their teammates' defeat. Ignoring the hostility, Xiang Yi calmly steps back. From the audience, a silver-haired girl watches him with curiosity. Her eyes narrowing in thought, a silver-haired girl turns away from the arena, her expression unreadable. Her quiet exit contrasts the celebration behind her, creating unease. Xiang Yi watches her from the stage. Though the crowd cheers for his victory, his gaze follows her retreating figure, sensing something unsettled. Confused, he questions whether she is unhappy about the win. Before he can act, the principal places a hand on his shoulder, urging him to go after her without hesitation. Xiang Yi responds with slight embarrassment but agrees to follow the advice. His expression lights up with determination. From afar, a teacher observes the interaction with irritation. His attention shifts from the match to the boy he sees as a threat. And a third teacher intervenes, calling out the first one, Yalu, for using hostile language. He reminds Yalu of past misconduct, questioning his suitability as an educator. Defending his class, the forging instructor makes it clear he won't tolerate any harm toward his students. His stance is firm, backed by conviction. Tension rises between the teachers until the headmaster lightly speaks, diffusing the situation and reminding them to maintain decorum. Both teachers freeze as the headmaster appears between them, his presence commanding respect and instantly calming the confrontation. A group of staff approaches the headmaster. They greet him with surprise and curiosity. His rare appearance draws everyone's attention. Yalu scoffs quietly, suspecting the headmaster only appears when convenient. However, the headmaster approaches him directly, challenging that thought. With a smile, the headmaster questions Yalu's actions. He criticizes the use of a dangerous creature like dragon crystal slime on students, emphasizing the danger it poses. Yalu is visibly nervous. The headmaster physically stops him, sending a clear message of authority and correction. The headmaster demands Yalu retrieve the slime he distributed. His words carry finality, leaving no room for disobedience. Yalu submits reluctantly, promising to comply. Meanwhile, another staff member greets the headmaster, wondering why he left his prior assignment. The headmaster affectionately pats the hat of a young witch-like girl, offering a playful excuse for his sudden presence. His relaxed demeanor contrasts the formal atmosphere of the arena. He quickly shifts focus, requesting that the arena be repaired. The witch and another staff member, Martin, acknowledge the task, preparing to restore the damaged battleground. The headmaster expresses interest in observing a student named Nanai. A nearby staff member grins in anticipation, hinting that the upcoming performance will be worth watching. Meanwhile, Xiang Yi moves through the corridor behind the arena, following the silver-haired girl who left during the celebration. His footsteps are steady as he closes the distance. He calls out to her, his face showing a mix of concern and relief upon seeing her. Her name escapes his lips as he tries to bridge the gap between them. Without a word, she turns and begins walking toward him. Her posture is composed and serious, with a sword at her side, signaling she has something important on her mind. Xiang Yi stands with determination, holding a scroll tightly in his hand. His expression is focused as he prepares to speak to Yi Bei with purpose. He calls out to her, trying to get her attention. She listens in silence, her face unreadable. Yi Bei reveals that she crafted a sword using what was considered worthless material, intending it for Xiang Yi, He holds it in his hands, surprised by her gesture. Yibei draws the sword and inspects its weight and balance. Her grip is firm and her stance confident. Without warning, she leaps forward, slicing the air with precision. Her movements are swift and practiced, demonstrating trust in the weapon. She acknowledges the sword's value with a simple thanks, then turns away. Xiang Yi warns her about an upcoming opponent's hidden power. She responds calmly. As Yibei begins to walk away, Xiang Yi raises his voice again, determined to get answers. She pauses but doesn't respond immediately. He steps closer, asking why she carried him during the Moon Mountain incident. His expression is serious, searching for understanding. She begins to explain, suggesting she had reasons but didn't fully reveal them earlier. Xiang Yi presses on, still burdened by doubt and the label of being useless. Xiang Yi questions her motivations further. He recalls moments when she defended him, but also how distant she remained afterward. He expresses frustration at the contradiction, her actions versus her cold attitude. He admits his confusion about her true feelings. She turns to face him slightly, declaring that she wishes to understand what lies in his heart. Her words hint at deeper feelings and personal conflict. Yibei walks away, reflecting on a prophecy from the high priest that the wielder of a certain ring would save the demon tribe. She stops and shares that the prophecy excluded Xiang Yi from that fate, casting doubt on his significance. Xiang Yi reacts with disbelief, questioning her certainty. Yibei looks back at him and promises to explain everything, finally ready to reveal the truth. Yibei remembers the moment Xiang Yi was struck by a boulder. Despite wanting to save everyone, she couldn't act in time. The scene replays in her mind as she carries him to safety. As chaos unfolded around them, she noticed a strange light emanating from the hands of some competitors. This unexpected magic caught her attention mid-battle. Before she could react further, everyone, including herself and Xiang Yi, was engulfed by a force and transported into a pitch-black room. Inside the dark space, Yibei holds Xiang Yi tightly. She assesses the unfamiliar surroundings while keeping him close. They are surrounded by unconscious figures. The intense magic had caused many to collapse due to unstable boundaries during the teleportation process. As they sit in silence, a distant silhouette appears ahead of them. Yibei braces herself as she questions the identity of the approaching figure. Two figures emerge from the shadows. One greets Yibei with familiarity, their presence both eerie and surprising. Yibei recognizes one of them, a strange individual she labels mockingly in her thoughts. The sight of him triggers irritation. The second figure introduces himself as Vasily Andrei, headmaster of the Royal Academy. With a calm demeanor, he formally acknowledges Yibei as the Demon Queen. Yibei reacts defensively, shocked that her identity has been exposed. Her power briefly flares in response. She raises her weapon, ready for confrontation. The situation has shifted from confusion to confrontation. Vasily explains his awareness. As the one who casts the protection spells around the kingdom, he has knowledge of all who enter, including her. He reveals that his awareness extends beyond borders. He's informed about everyone moving in and out of the kingdom. He hints at a deeper network, suggesting there's more to his involvement than just border surveillance. His tone becomes serious. Vasily admits to having connections within the demon tribe itself. His control runs deeper, making it clear that he has been aware of Yibei's presence for a long time. A noble man sits confidently on a throne-like chair, his hand controlling a glowing blue orb. He speaks calmly, reminiscing about his past visits to a certain household. His tone suggests familiarity and power. Inside the orb's vision, a silver-haired woman appears, staring with cold intensity. She seems restrained or summoned, her chest bare, caught in a vulnerable moment under the orb's control. The woman's expression shifts to shock and anger. The nobleman's voice continues, revealing that he was once close to her father. This revelation causes a mix of surprise and confusion in her eyes. The vision in the orb changes, now showing a tall, dark-armored figure, her father standing resolute. The woman cries out, reacting emotionally to the image of her father resurfacing through magic. The nobleman reveals that he and her father drifted apart after a disagreement. Their differing beliefs caused their separation. Despite their close friendship in the past, the woman, sword in hand, questions why the strongest human would befriend a demon. The nobleman explains that he sees no tribal divisions to him. All life is equal across the plains, and tribal disputes are meaningless. The nobleman smiles, suggesting that once she knows the full truth, her worldview will also shift. His confidence implies he knows something she doesn't. He hints that everything within this realm is part of a larger plan, controlled by a higher power. The woman reacts with visible confusion, struggling to grasp his cryptic words. Still calm, the nobleman assures her that she won't understand now, but will eventually. Meanwhile, she challenges him about her training and path, standing her ground with a determined gaze. The nobleman tells her to study diligently. He is curious whether she can surpass her past self through her current form. treating her development as a test. A red-haired observer silently acknowledges the woman's current state. The woman reflects internally. Despite the nobleman knowing her true identity, he shows no hostility. She stands on a cliffside, gazing over a vast glowing landscape. What she expected to be a confrontation instead leaves her feeling insignificant, as though her existence is beneath his notice. A young man, startled, realizes the nobleman must know his true identity. His expression shows fear and urgency as he speaks to the silver-haired woman. She firmly tells him that the nobleman cannot be deceived. Her sharp tone cuts through his panic, grounding him in reality. The woman mocks his arrogance, reminding him how foolish he appears. He stays silent for a moment, then admits this might be his only shot at leaving the human realm, vowing to pursue it with everything he has. A silver-haired woman faces a brown-haired young man in a quiet corridor. Her gaze is serious, commanding his attention. The atmosphere is tense as she prepares to hand over a decision. The young man stands behind her, his back straight but distant. She gives him freedom of action, placing no restrictions on his next move. He clenches his fist as he reflects silently, his determination growing. His face shows no fear, only resolve. Outside, the arena awaits, bathed in daylight, with its circular walls towering silently around the battleground. The tournament announcer, dressed in ornate armor, introduces the next round. The crowd waits with anticipation as new contestants are called forward. The first competitor, Moss Philly from the Magic class, enters the stage riding a large, emotionless cat. His colorful hair and relaxed posture contrast with the unusual steed beneath him. The next participant, Nai from the Culinary class, walks in with an imposing physique. Spectators comment with curiosity about the unexpected presence of students from such varied disciplines. Spectators begin debating the potential outcome of the match. Confident remarks clash with skeptical warnings about overconfidence, fueling a brief argument between opposing supporters. A girl with pink hair quietly shares her view, acknowledging Feli's clumsy side but affirming his reputation as one of their top talents. Her tone is measured and confident. The battlefield becomes the center of attention. The referee calls for the match to begin. Nai takes the offensive first, unleashing a wave of energy with a powerful strike. Feli sits calmly on his cat mount. Asked if he's ready, his expression remains indifferent. He shows no excitement, only a desire to finish the task quickly. With a smirk, Feli affirms his readiness. As he rises into the air, his body begins to glow with magical energy, signaling the activation of his power. Now levitating above the arena, Feli hovers with steady control. Below him, his cat companion watches blankly, unfazed by the magic display above.